Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go. Hello, Potter Than Hellians, and welcome back to the Potter Than Hell Torture Hour, podcast. This is Dylan, your host for this evening, and I'm joined, as always, by
Steve,
as well as
BC,
and then finally
BB.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you all had a great week since you last heard us. I know we did. Probably. I don't know. Did you all have a great week? Did you have a great week, Dad?
I don't know. Kind of a shit show at work. Last couple shifts, except for my last shift. 2 shifts after we recorded were kind of fucked up, but nothing too crazy. Just a little aggravating shit, but not bad. Other than that, and I just want to say right now, you're gonna hear me coughing through this probably whole episode. We literally have all the smoke from the wildfires in Canada down here in Pennsylvania today, and it's like you literally. Like, from my front porch, you could always see, like, the hills, like, on the other side of town. Like, you can't even fucking see them now. It's so hazy. And that's all from the smoke from the wildfires up in Canada. So if any of our listeners are up there, stay safe up there. And it's got to really suck up there.
Yeah, we're hoping for the best for all.
And for anybody that has it, because I know I was texting with Tom and Murph today, and they're up in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and they have the same thing. So it's just Eastern Seaboard. It's just hammering everybody, so you hear the coughing, that's what it's from.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that the last time he had a coughing fit was also when I was hosting, but if you look back at the tape, I don't know.
You can edit them out.
Yeah, well, you always do it when I'm talking. So BC,
even better.
BC.
Edit that out too.
How about you, bud?
I'm alive. I mean, that's all I can ask for nowadays.
Yeah.
But busy week, nonstop.
Mm-hmm. Keeping us up all night.
Keeping up on it.
Resetting the library alarm.
Be on it. And for good reasons.
Yeah.
I slept right through.
And BB, I know that you have some good news in your family. The missus getting a promotion.
Yeah, Randall L got a big promotion at work. She's the executive director of where she works. She's
good for her.
She's going to be like the head honcho now. So
you could go part time now.
You're going to retire.
I might as well because it's crazy. But congratulations to her. Definitely, well deserved. She's been there over 10 years. Helping victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, like all the bad things that you hear about. She is the head honcho of getting these people help and shelter and funds and clothes for kids. It's amazing what she does, But other than that, working with BC, doesn't know how to reset a library fire alarm, keeps us up all night, can't get to sleep until 3 o'clock. But everything else is, tip top shape down at the 43.
Awesome. Awesome. So we have a backlog of episodes to talk about since we weren't able to talk about a few of them. First off, what did you think of BB and I's solo venture into the Foo Fighters back catalog?
My first thought was, thank God you do that shit when I'm not on the show. That was my first thought. But I'm glad you guys do that because it's just not something that I'm really into. Like I'm a hits guy, but I do like hearing about it, and and there were ones you were like, got me kind of interested. To the one song you said is like the worst Foo Fighters song ever.
Shame, horrible.
And and I did check that out, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see that.
Give that to us, all right.
So, but it's funny too because you guys were talking about how like the last couple albums were not really impressive. The Foo Fighters stuff itself,
yeah.
But like the one for the movie was cool that we talked about. That was really cool. But like the Foo Fighters albums themselves were a little lackluster compared to the
supplemental
the letter
material.
ones. You know what I mean? And we may be talking about them coming up soon.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Yes. And after that episode was our Jeopardy episode where I won my first time out. Thanks to a clerical error.
God damn it.
It's really funny because we started that episode with somebody not... It was the very same person not doing it in the form of a question. And then there was the nice no question sandwich that ended up spelling disaster. I won't spoil... Well, I mean, I already spoiled who won, but...
Well, it's already out.
Yeah, it's already out, but...
But if you didn't listen...
That was a fun time.
Just forget what you heard the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, just... if you look into your phone, I'm going to flash the Men in Black memory eraser thing. Anyways, and then after that, the most recent episode before this one, you two did the next 2x2 for Lillian Axe. How did that go?
Good. I mean, to me, I think it was their strongest albums, but everybody has their own opinion. But yeah, it was very fun, and the next two will be interesting.
So downhill from there.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because those, I think they really hit their groove on that third album, Love and War. Right, was the third one, right? Love and War, and then Psycho-Schizophrenia. And like I said,
Poetic Justice.
Poetic Justice. I'm sorry, Love and War was the second one. And I think they really hit their stride. And like I said, the Psycho-Schizophrenia one, that's like the only Lillian Axe album that I own on vinyl. And I was right when I said the first time BC, because when we went out there that night, that album was still on the turntable. I thought I'd taken it off, but it was still on there. I enjoyed it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, what are we listening to this week, Dad? What do you got on the turntable besides the Lillian Axe?
All right. Well, first of all, we were actually us four were off last week. We kind of had a couple. We had like an episode or two banked, so everyone was off last week. Well, except for you editing, but
true.
But I was not off. I was invited by Sonny Pooney to come on. I was on Podcast Rock City with Joe Polo and Lee and Joey Casada, and then each host got to invite a guest, and we did a Name That Tune. Joe asked Andrew Scambetti. Sonny had asked me. Lee had asked Trey, I think the other guy was. He was an original host on the show. And then Joey invited his buddy Bill. And then they played snippets of songs. You had to guess them and stuff. I came in last. But I do have to say I got fucked in the beginning because of my internet. I couldn't hear it. But it was fun. It was a great time being on there. And we had a lot of laughs and stuff. So thank you guys for having me on there. It was a blast. And then I was on the Fly podcast with Stevie Fly and Jason Warden, and they invited me on for their 100th episode, and we did a Kiss draft of the first 3 albums. And I'm not going to brag, but my album was the best at the end. I just got to say that. But it was fun. It was we covered a lot of topics on there, some talk about podcasting and stuff, and it was fun. It's a good podcast. Check those guys out too. It's on the Fly podcast, and like I said, they just had their 100th episode. They have a bunch of different stuff. They do sports. They do some like WWE stuff, and he has some interviews with some country singers and stuff. Really cool. And we were supposed to record the latest Queensryche episode last week, but we didn't. Ray was in Vegas. Ray, hope you had an awesome time. So we will be recording one this weekend coming up. So look out for that one soon. As far as what I'm listening to, and actually I do have a little great news too. I told BC yesterday, Black Country Communion, as we speak, is in the studio recording right now. I am fucking pumped.
Yes.
Love it. And they're going to be on the, I think it's called Keeping the Blues Alive cruise with Joe Bonamassa. Black Country Communion is going to be on that cruise.
That's very cool.
So that's going to be fucking awesome. So they're going to have an album coming out, and there was a snippet of Joe Bonamassa doing a solo on one of the songs, just absolutely tearing it up. And so, and actually when BC and I recorded, I would like to mention that Tina Turner passed away. I just didn't want to not mention that. Very prolific entertainer and singer in the 70s and 80s, and that Private Dancer album,
Dances for Money,
fucking awesome album, just really good stuff. And I do have I'm glad he went to me first, Dylan, because I have some other stuff too. But the one thing I wanted to get your guys' take on it was, did you guys see? I'm sure you did, the latest Vinnie Vincent fiasco. I'm going to go to BB on this one. Do you see it, and do you know what the deal is with it?
Is this about his lead singer was, there for
announced.
And
They did it all online, and this is going to be the guy. And then 4 hours later, the guy came on or Vinny came on and said that this guy is no longer part of the band, and I will be the one who releases the next vocalist's name. And yeah, it was
all him,
shit
and then
show.
it was typical Vinnie Vincent horse shit.
Yeah, I don't even know if this box set even exists anymore. Like, I just think, I don't know, everything in his brain is a freaking circus.
Well, from what I understand, they did that
Thing in
gathering in Nashville.
Right.
I don't know. This is unofficially, I don't know, but I heard there were only 6 people there.
I wouldn't be surprised. Because
So,
it was...
You know what? I mean, if that's your thing, you want to spend your money on that, I mean, more power to you. But, like, I just don't... I don't know. I don't know how people can get sucked into that. But I did bring up a point when I recorded on the On the Fly podcast that we all... I don't know if Dylan was there. Us 3 here, we did the Vinny meet and greet down in New Jersey. Super nice to us. Did a bumper for the show. Let us play what song we wanted in the background. Was super nice to us. And I think that's a thing, because it seems like he's great to the fans. People at Creatures Fest said he was great, except for the jerk-off fest he had up on the stage playing the guitar. But like, he was super nice to us. And you're like, oh man, he's a good guy. But I'm assuming that once you get into the business thing with him, that's when things get fucked up.
get difficult.
If you're a fan, awesome. But if you're in business, something just, I don't know if there's a switch that flips that fucking instant jackass, or I don't know. Like Gene Simmons said, he's the guy that would hang himself if you handed him to the keys of the kingdom. So, and that seems to be an actual thing. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. What do you think about it, BC?
I read it real quick, and I don't entertain anything with Vinnie Vince anymore, because, like you said, it's just I love the album.
It's the same shit.
You're just going to change the world, and it fizzles away and doesn't even happen after that. Yeah. So I can't get excited at anything Vinnie Vince.
No.
Sorry.
What do you think, Dylan? We just get the head shake out of him. Mm-hmm. That, and I have one more thing before I want to listen to Dylan.
Jesus Christ.
Huh? Well, it's been a while since we were all together.
I know. Go ahead.
The Iron Maiden set list. Did anybody... I have it. Did anybody see it or check it out?
Yeah, you sent it to us.
Yeah. All right, so they played... I want to say it was Poland they played, maybe? Or Slovenia or somewhere. One of those places over there. Caught Somewhere in Time, Stranger in a Strange Land, Writing on the Wall, Days of Future Past, Time Machine, The Prisoner, Death of the Celts. Can I play Bandis? Heaven Can Wait, Alexander the Great, First Time Ever played live, Fear of the Dark, Iron Maiden, then they go off, then they come back and do Hell on Earth, Trooper, and then Wasted Years. Killer set, first time ever for Days of Future Past, for Time Machine, Death of the Celts, Alexander the Great, and Hell on Earth. That's, man, fucking awesome. I would fucking go insane seeing that fucking set. And Iron Maiden can do it.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know? And they're not afraid to do it.
But will they do that in the United States?
I think so. I believe that they will do that, for sure. What do you think about that, BB?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this set list, especially the Death of the Celts. I would never thought they would even bring that out at all. And this is like, I have to tip my hat to these guys. At least they're playing for true fans, not just the people who want to hear Aces High and Run to the Hills and Can I Play with Madness? It's just a great thing that they're actually going out and pulling these deep tracks, out of the cellar, throwing them in a set list and actually playing them, and fans like us will be like, woo!
People are losing their shit over this.
And like the people who just are there for like the hits, they're like, oh, this is all the, but
they're getting a couple of them.
Yeah. And more power to them. Keep doing that. Keep pulling out the deeper tracks and keeping all your fans happy.
What do you think, Don?
So I like the sentiment behind the set. Those aren't like my favorite albums, like Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, and there seems to be a lot of songs from those albums.
How dare you?
But it's just not my vibe. But it's a very cool, like, that they're including those songs that they normally don't have live. I mean, it sure beats hearing Run to the Hills a million times. So I definitely love the idea behind it for sure. And I understand like they are going with like the time kind of vibe.
They're tying that in with the new album.
So that they picked a lot of good songs for that vibe. So I'm very pro it. I wouldn't be like over the top excited to hear them personally, but I like that they're doing them. I'm not anti them doing it.
What do you think, BC?
I love it. You sent that out, and I read it. I'm like,
I thought it was a joke at first.
That's what I
I'm
thought,
thinking
too.
someone's
Yeah, like
fucking with us here.
A fan set list,
Yeah,
like a dream set list.
I zoomed it up, and I'm looking for something like, okay, dream list, somebody's dream list or something.
Yeah.
Not that it was what they actually played, and when I realized it was actually what they played, I thought that was, like you said, thank you.
That's cool. Like Alexander the Great, people have been begging for that song for years. I mean, the Iron Maidens. I don't want to say the Iron Maidens did it when we saw them at Penn's Peak. I want to say they did it. I know they have done it in the past, but I think they did it when we saw them, and it's cool. You know, it's and the weird thing about Alexander the Great, it's not as long of a song as you think it is. Like it's an Iron Maiden epic. It's only like
it's under 6 minutes.
It's under 7 minutes.
Under 7.
It's under 7 minutes. So it's not like that in Mother Russia. That one's under 7 minutes too. I think that one's under 6 minutes.
I think that's what I was thinking. That was under 6.
But I'm glad they're doing it. I wish more like Priest does that too. Priest kind of did that when we saw them the last time. They do that. Priest does that. Maiden does that. The chances of Kiss ever doing that are fucking zero. Zero of doing that. Well, they put Making Love in the set, BC. It's something.
Better than Do You Love Me?
That's true. That is true. All right. So now, what am I listening to?
The initial question,
I had all this shit built up over the
question
last
that I had initially
2
asked
weeks.
you. Yeah, you could have said all that stuff after we did the
10
what are you
minutes
listening to.
No, I wanted to get it out.
I was going to be like, is there anything else anybody wants to go over before we get into the episode? And then
I'll think of something by the end.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
He's taking
now.
over.
No, you're trying to delay. You're trying to not talk about these albums.
I want it to be like a Band-Aid. I just want to rip it the fuck off.
So let's see what I've been listening to from the start of 2023,
right.
January 1st.
No, I was home. What was the last holiday? We just had Memorial Day. So we kind of had an at-home day, just kind of hanging, doing nothing. So I had a little Night Ranger binge. I listened to the newest 2 albums, and the band played on, and I think Somewhere in California or Don't Let Up, one of those 2. I put on. Then I listened to the first 3, Dawn Patrol, Midnight Madness, and 7 Wishes. So I played them. Great. I've been listening to a little bit of Zebra lately. I have a Zebra thing coming up, not on here. And Maiden had the anniversary of Brave New World like a week ago. So I spun that vinyl, played that, and goddamn, that's a fucking good album. That's all I got for now.
Okay. BB, what have you been listening to?
You got anything else before that?
I will listen intently.
I'm actually listening to a band I brought to the podcast. I think it was like 2 years ago. Steve kind of sent me a thing the other day. Circus of Rock. This drummer from, I believe he's from Sweden. His name is Mirka Ratton. Great drummer, but he gets all these different band members together, and he'll put a album out under the name Circus of Rock. All different guitar players, all different bass players. So a lot of the songs are very different. One of the singers on the new album is Jeff Scott Soto, probably the most popular guy that's on the album this time. It's called Lost Behind the Mask. It was released May of this year. Good stuff. It really catches your ear because it's not the same, and it's a Frontiers, so it doesn't have the Frontier sound. And what I really like about it, everything, it flows great, but it's all different. Like the opening track is great. It almost sounds like that Dino
Jesulik.
Yeah, and I thought it was him, and when I looked, I'm like, oh, that's not him. It's some other guy that I'd never heard of. But yeah, really good stuff. This guy gets some of these underground, not so out popular guys and makes some crazy music that's really, really good.
But it sounds like a band album.
Yeah, it
with
flows
different singers
amazingly.
on the other ones.
Yeah, really cool.
Very cool. How about you, BC? What have you been listening to?
I've been sticking with the bees this past few weeks. The new Buck Cherry Volume 10. Love it. Right out of the gates. Some Bonfire I've been listening to, but mainly it's all the newer stuff with that vocalist is gone now, but still got to get used to that shit. And the new one from Bombay Black. It's like the first one in 12 years.
Oh, is that out?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was out.
It's not on streaming.
Of course. It's
Well, that'll do it.
That'll pull it back. But hey, I mean, from what I heard, it sounded very good. I mean, so I ordered it. Yeah, I like the hard copy in my hand now. Much as the technology takes over, but I still want
Want to hold it.
I want to hold a physical copy in my hand.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's about it.
Very cool. I have been listening to a couple of newer releases that have come out this past week. Of course, Hollywood Vampires released their first live album, Live in Rio. Really great showing from them. Really cool version of Whole Lotta Love featuring Lizzie Hale.
That's fucking awesome.
That rips. I'm disappointed that there was no Sweet Emotion on there because we saw them play that live and that was fantastic. But cool to hear them do Train Kept a Rollin' and Brown Sugar and
no Sweet Emotion though.
no. That's what I just said.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
I'm glad you guys listen to each other.
Yeah. See, don't we tune each other out? It's fun.
I'm sorry.
Like, so I learned from watching you, Dad.
I was reading a text. I'm sorry.
I listened to Foo Fighters' new album, But Here We Are. Really great album. Very sad though. It's really all about Taylor, but I think it's actually their best album. I think since Wasting Light, in my opinion. I really really liked it. Under You, I know BB, you really like that song too. That was a really just
Poof.
That's the second song,
That's
right?
the second song.
hit
That
ya.
was really really
See,
good.
how did I know that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then I listened to Avenged Sevenfold's new album, Life is But a Dream. Let me tell you, Avenged Sevenfold, so I was wondering if those two singles were going to be indicative of what the album was going to be like. They absolutely are. The whole album is like this. However, I think I kind of like it. It's one of those situations where it's like, I don't like this as an Avenged Sevenfold album, but I like it as a different kind of album. It's weird.
It's Avenged Sevenfold's Elder.
I called basically. I called it like a theater kid's fever dream. Like it is weird. There's a song about Mattel, the company, and like being a plastic doll. Like it is like some weird existential stuff in the lyrics. And
I think they had too much time off.
the instrumentals are weird. There's some like Pink Floyd influence in there. There's some Beach Boys influence. It's all over the place. But like, I kind of like it, and the guitar work on it is really good when it pops up. But like the time signatures are strange, and it's not the straightforward rock and Avenged Sevenfold that you get with City of Evil or any of those other songs. It's very proggy at times, which you don't expect from Avenged Sevenfold. But this could either be my least favorite album of the year or my favorite album of the year. I think
I'm gonna have to give it another.
It's gonna
listen.
depend. But the good thing is that they didn't commit the biggest sin in music and made it. It's not boring. Like I would have disliked a boring album more than this, because
Interesting bad is better than boring.
exactly. Like this might be a so bad it's good album for me. This might be I legitimately like it album. I need to listen to it more. But it has me thinking.
Maybe it's a grower.
It might be a grower.
It's a grower, not a shower.
I think it might be a grower. So that's what we were listening to this week. I have Hollywood Vampires, Avenged Sevenfold, and Foo Fighters, and Here We Are. BC's listening to is brought to you by the letter B with Buck Cherry Volume 10, Bonfire, and Bombay Black. BB is listening to Circus of Rock, Lost Behind the Mask. And my dad is listening to Night Ranger, the first 3 albums and the last 2, as well as Hollywood Vampires, and I think Buck Cherry as well. You also were listening to, but you didn't mention them.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
And Zebra and Maiden.
And Zebra and Maiden. So, quite the array of listening to. And we were also listening to these albums, I hope, because I was told by my dad I want to do an alt rock episode. So
It was a listener request.
a listener request for an alt rock episode.
Yes, and I apologize. I went through my messages and I lost who it was. So
And
I apologize for that.
I
I did remember that
yes,
it was requested.
So thank you, listener, whoever you are, because I got to show these 3 gentlemen a different variety of alt rock albums. I tried to pick kind of different shade for each album, different areas of alt rock, because alt rock is kind of a broad genre, just like metal. You know, with metal, you got, you know, new metal, you got death metal, you got, you know, power metal. There's all these different subcategories. So I didn't want to just give you one shade of alt rock and have you go at it. I tried to pick different kind of tastings where you're going to get a different vibe from each album, and I tried to spread out when they came out, but unfortunately I did not do a good job of that, as they are kind of paired 90s and 2000s, but that was my bad. Maybe next time I'll do a little better with that. But we're going to go chronological order, and the first album that I picked is a band that we have talked about before on the podcast. It was one of my birthday albums, in fact, the band Green Day. We also, I think we may have talked about maybe Wake Me Up When September Ends for the Ballads episodes. Mm-hmm. So that was on there as well.
Not a ballad.
That is a ballad. What are you talking about? The album we're going to be talking about is their third album, their first major label album with Reprise Records. The album Dookie came out in February 1st, 1994, a couple months before I was born. And it was produced by Rob Cavallo, who that name might sound familiar, because he produced Welcome to the Black Parade, Dad.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So
okay.
He produced also American Idiot. So very good producer, very prolific producer. And, that's kind of how they got going with that. It was recorded in Fantasy Studios in Berkeley, California. Of course, Green Day is a very California band. The band, of course, is Billy Joe Armstrong on lead vocals and guitar, Mike Dirnt on bass and backing vocals, and Trey Cool on drums, guitar, and lead vocals on A Really Shitty Song. I thought we would do a fun game to start us off, and I would love to, because I know that alternative isn't really your guys' genre of choice, and I know that some of you don't really listen to the radio as much, like mainstream radio. So I would like to play a game called Guess the Singles. And we're going to do this for each of the 3 studio albums. And I'm going to have you each guess the 4 songs that were chosen as singles for each of these albums. So, Dad, what do you think were the 4 songs that were chosen as singles for Green Day?
Longview.
Okay.
Welcome to Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Basket Case.
Okay.
And When I Come Around.
Okay, so those are your 4 choices
They're my
for
4
singles.
choices.
BB, how about you?
You should probably have us write them down for the next one.
Okay.
So there's no copying.
I'm switching a song. I'm going to I say Longview, Basket Case, When I Come Around, and She.
Okay. BC, how about you, buddy?
I was going to say She, Basket Case, When I Come Around. Good.
All by myself.
Long View, I don't know.
Okay.
Taking a wild shot.
Well, Dad, you were absolutely right.
Was it really?
Yes, it was. So the first single was Longview. The second single was Basket Case. Third single was Welcome to Paradise. And then the fourth single was When I Come Around. So those were the
They
four
seem the
singles.
most accessible to me.
That...
Because they were the ones I could remember that I've heard before.
Yes, that's usually a good sign when... It's like, oh, I recognize that song.
Yeah.
Usually got rated.
And because I know we did When I Come Around on the video one, and yes. I know we did Basket Case on... No, we did Basket Case on the video one, and Longview...
And When I Come Around was, I think,
on
Guitar
the
Hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And She was also a good guess, because She's a very famous song from them as well. Not that She, but it does have...
Oh, that's not the song?
So it's not a cover?
So let's get into the album proper. The perfect thing about these kinds of albums is that they're not over an hour long. They're a quick half hour, 40 minutes, in and out. This is kind of the punk vibe that I wanted to give you for alt rock. Getting more towards pop punk, but this is really when Green Day started to get big, was with this album. So we open up with Burnout, fast-paced opener, really showing off Trey Cool's drumming. And Trey Cool, for me, is the MVP on this album. His drum fills are sick bananas. They are amazing. I'm sorry to co-opt the phrase from you, BB, but I had to use it. Especially during the stop-start parts in this song, with the... He's going nuts. And I really love Mike Dirnt's bass as well. Like, he has some really cool bass runs in the background, but, of course, being the bass, you can't really hear it over Billy's guitars. But still a fantastic opener to get you into the mood of the album. Having a blast. Unfortunately, uncomfortable lyrics, since this was written pre-Columbine, about a kid like blowing up other kids at a school. Not the best situation. But it is a good high-energy song to keep it going from burnout at the beginning. Then we go into track 3, Chump. Cool solo bass groove in the middle of the song that I really liked, and it builds into a band cacophony. And then that dies out, and it goes into the intro drums for Longview with that iconic bass line. I love the soft verse, loud chorus for this song. That's always a signature of this kind of genre, with the really great kind of tempo pickup during the chorus that I think really works well. It's an iconic song for a reason. Welcome to Paradise. This was actually on a previous album that was called Kerplunk, but then they re-recorded it for this album. And this is kind of the well-known version of it. It's the third single. Of course, it's iconic. The song is really rocking and kicks ass. I love the kind of, I call it like the falling down the staircase part in the middle with the like. There's a cool build-up in that, and it's a really great way to switch up the song. Number 6, Pulling Teeth. There's a little more mid-tempo in this song. Kind of a come down from Welcome to Paradise, but I think I really like the harmonies in this song. And the harmonies would become a Green Day staple. They always do a really great job with that. And it almost feels like an old school 50s song with the solo at the one time in there that I really kind of liked. Basket Case, the second single, starts off low key, but then it gets rocking. It's another iconic song from this album. I mean, what more can you say about Basket Case? Again, you got the harmonies on the chorus that really work. What else can you say about it? And then we're going right into She with the awesome, simple bass intro. But there's some really great parts where Mike Dirnt takes the bass for a walk in this song that really get going. Number 9, Sassafras Roots. A nice quick song, keeping the mood up. I like the tempo change at the end of the chorus that changes it up a little bit. And then we go into number 10, When I Come Around, the last single released for the album. Song that I got burnt out on very quickly when I was first listening to Green Day. I do love the bass line in it. This was a song that my band would cover quite a bit, so that might also be part of the burnout factor, but it's a good song. Coming Clean, the quick and simple song, nothing really special on this one for me. Number 12, Enemius Sleepus, is the only non-Billy Joe penned song besides the song that I'll be talking about at the end of the album. This one's penned by Mike Dirnt. I really like the riff in it. It's a little more complex than the riffs that we've been getting, but I think it's a kind of a cool little thing. Number 13, In the End, a breaking pace right out of the gate. There's a cool little quiet part towards the back that builds back up into the intro of the song, and I really thought that was a cool song. Then we go to FOD, not FOB, which is Fall Out Boy. Fast acoustic intro, and it kind of sounds like any of the other songs on the album, but just with Billy Joe and an acoustic guitar. And you're like, oh, is this just going to be the last song kind of thing? But then the band comes in halfway through and immediately boosts the song up for me. And it is a very cool ender, and it would have been the ender on the album if they didn't also put the hidden track on the album All By Myself. And this was originally a hidden track. It was not. It was unlisted on the album cover. It's a song that Trey Cool wrote and played that's about masturbation, and it's fucking stupid. It's a stupid way to end the album off. It's like a gag song, and it makes me want to gag. It's dumb. I don't like it at all.
Ball gag.
But if it ended with FOD, I think it would have been a much better ender. But this is a nice, fast-paced, pop punk kind of feeling album, and kind of a different vibe for what Green Day would eventually become with Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, and the American Idiot stuff. This is a lot more punky Green Day. So I thought that this might be a little more accessible than the kind of happy crappy Green Day that happens sometimes. But I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about this, Dad, about this album.
Who's going to pick on me first? Of course, for this whole episode, when Dylan put out the album, I was like, fucking Green Day, fuck. And I said that for all the other bands, too, so don't think that they're exclusive to that. Burnout, quick start, up-tempo, fucking drums are killer. This whole album, the drums are fucking fantastic. Like, the snare work and shit that he does, and I'm assuming he just plays a small kit.
Yeah, it's a very simple kit.
But he fucking kills it, man. He just freaking You're right, Sick Bananas drums, whole fucking album. Having a good rockin' start on the first song there, having a blast, cool riff. Bass is really good on this one, too. They rock pretty good. good background vocals, some little chugging in this one, quick little fun rocker. I like the shortness of the songs. They get in, they rock it out, they get the fuck out. Chump, another rocking song, and I'm just like on the third song, man, this drummer is fucking killer. Cool bass part in the middle, like that fucking like bass run is cool. Longview, this one is one that I knew. Like the softer vocals for the verse, and then the fucking chorus just fucking punches you in the face. Really good one. Welcome to Paradise, another one that I knew as well. You said that came from a Kerplunk album?
It came
was that named after the game?
It might have been, but yeah, that was like the album right before this
with the sticks and the marbles in the tube. Remember that? You used to have to put all the sticks in and have the marbles in there, and if you released all the marbles, you lost. Remember?
You kept pulling sticks out one at a time.
It's a thing. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry. This one rocks right off the bat. This one I said I know. Like I was bobbing my head on this one. The build up back into the song is great. Fun fucking song. Pulling teeth, little slower tempo, kind of a little minor palate cleanser, but this has like a country feel to it to me. You know, it's like a kind of like a country music kind of. It's not twangy, but it has that twangy feel, which is cool. I think it's a good. You know, it's like the sixth song. I think it's a good little changeover from just the stuff. Basket Case, we talked about that when we did the video. Fucking this song is fucking awesome. You know, BB, do you have the time to listen to me whine? I fucking love that.
All at once.
Just great. And another killer song on the drums. She, definitely not the She from Kiss. Bass and drum start. Chugging guitar. The kicking is fucking good on this one. Good up-tempo song. This one's not crazy fast. It has a good pace to it, though. The layered vocals are good in it. I like when they do that, and it's not just the one dude singing.
Yeah.
Sassafras Roots. This one starts kind of different for these guys. I like the chord changes. The bass stands out on that one. When I Come Around, I'm meh on that song. I just don't like that. Go back to the other episode. I hated it then. Coming Clean, right back into it. Right back to the rocking. Not the blistering pace of the other ones. This one is okay, just okay for me. I'm glad it's a shorter song. Animus Sleepus picks back up. This one's not. We're in a little lull for me here. These last three songs are kind of for me like, guys, just like, in the end, another fast pace. But I'm getting feeling a little samey at this point for the things. Yeah. But once again, the drums are fucking killer. FOD. And they had me faked out on this one. I'm thinking this is going to be a muted acoustic song for a whole fucking thing. Like, don't end the album like this. But then they kick it in.
Yeah.
But the production feels different on this song than the rest of the album. It has a little more fuzz to it, I think.
Yeah.
And it would have been a really good ender. All by Myself. It was a hidden track. Let's keep it fucking hidden.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But some rocking shit on here. You know, it is. It's a good, quick album. I forget how long it is. It's not that long.
I think it's like 38 minutes.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun album. It was a fun album. This would be one. If I think there's three songs on there that I really didn't like besides that last whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
But I liked it because we did. I think you did American Idiot for one of your birthday albums, and I liked that one too. What was that one song?
Jesus of Suburbia.
Yeah, that fucking song was great.
Yeah, that's my favorite song.
Yeah. So good start. I was like, okay.
See,
I could toss out three songs. I'd be good. So it'd be about a 30-minute album.
Yeah.
like Dress to Kill. That's only like 28 minutes. Yeah. And that's being kind.
They both have She on it.
Yeah, true.
Something I wanted to mention that they went on an international tour after this album, and they used a bookmobile to travel between their shows that Trey Cool's father owned. So that was their tour bus, was a bookmobile.
That's cool.
BB, what'd you think of the album?
Yeah, this is a fun little album. Burnout. It has it's that fast punkish rocker start. There's some really cool guitar, drum back and forth parts that I really enjoyed. Having a blast. The bass in this song is the highlight of it for me. I love when a bass is actually out front. You can really hear it. Chump. Great ending. You swear to God, Trey Cool is destroying the drum kit. It's almost like the Peter Criss was a Saturday midnight
special.
special.
Where
And he just destroys the drums. That's exactly how I picture this ending to Chump and Trey Cool just destroying it, because that's pretty much what it sounded like. Longview, great song. Really love the cool bass line opening. Very popular. I believe this was one of the singles we talked about. Welcome to Paradise. This rock, now this is where it starts to get me now a little bit. I said this rock punk sound starts to sound all the same. Now I know why this album was so popular, because it just seems I'm only 1, 2, 3. I'm like 5 songs in. I'm like. It just has the same tempo, drum sound, guitar sound. Mm-hmm. So now I know why everybody likes it. There's really nothing different. But once we get to Pulling Teeth, it slows down. It's a great tempo change for me. It almost, like Dylan, you already said this, it almost sounds like a 50s rock to it. Basket Case, this song probably put this album out into the atmosphere, because this song was probably the most popular song on the album. I love the bass and drum runs together. I thought that was really cool. Sassafras Roots really didn't do anything for me. It was just all right. And the opposite of Steve, when I come around, I actually like this tempo that they actually sing this song in, compared to the more punkish sound / feel that this whole album has. Coming Clean, another one, nothing, it's just a meh for me. What's that?
Enemy of
Sleepus?
Yeah.
All right. Crazy sound. Crazy name to a song, but the guitar work in that one, really, really good. In the end, the cool drumming ending again, like you guys already said, it's almost like all the outro stuff to all these songs are really, really good. FOD, another pretty much ground ball of the fast punkish rocker, and then I think we're all on the same page with All By Myself. I just had okay.
Yeah, not good.
Horrible way to end the album. I love Trey Cool with all my heart, but come on, man.
Did he do that just to get a writing credit?
Well, I think it was just like
a fuck around thing.
Yeah,
it's like Tommy Lee doing his song.
I mean, they named the song. They named the album. They named the album Dookie, so like
a dump. Taking a dump.
They're clearly like
taking a Dookie.
They're in their like prankster phase. Like they had a mud fight with the crowd in Woodstock '94.
Were you there for that, BB?
99.
Oh, you were 99.
And like the security guy like slammed Mike Dirt into the cabinets.
Oh no shit!
Broke his arm, yeah, because he thought he was a fan. BC, I know that the drums probably hit you right at home with this album.
I was going to say Green Day. I mean, out of everything we're going to talk about tonight, is the only thing I've heard before tonight. I like them, and like you said, the drums to me. Yeah. I find myself air drumming with it because it kicks ass. I mean, some of the songs I love the punkish feel to it, but again, I think BB mentioned after a little while, it's like
blends together.
You start. Not that it's bad, but you heard it before.
You get desensitized to it, yeah.
Desensitized to it. And I said, the ones that stood out for me on its album were Pulling Teeth. I like me because that was after I listened.
Yeah.
It was different, like Basket Case, not the Kiss cover. And Welcome to Paradise. I mean, I never really listen. I don't listen to radio, but I'm very familiar with a lot of their hits. I don't know how, maybe because they're just all over the place.
You hear them out.
When you're out, you're always, I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind his band. Mm-hmm. As far as alternative, I'm not really an alternative guy, like you said in the beginning of this episode. But I can listen to Green Day and enjoy it.
Yeah, awesome. So we're gonna go from Green Day to Radiohead. Very different vibes. This one, OK Computer, also their third studio album, funnily enough, released in 1997. Produced by Nigel Godrich, who is a very big producer as well. Basically, Radiohead's go-to producer, starting with the album before. It was recorded originally in a rehearsal space at Canada Plaza in Didcot, England. But then they're like, nah, we don't like that. So they went to a historic mansion in St. Catherine's Court in Bath, which is in England as well. This is a 53-minute album. The band in question is Tom York, Johnny Greenwood, Philip Selway, Ed O'Brien, and Colin Greenwood. Tom York, of course, being kind of the front man for the band, kind of the big ego of the band, as it were. So we'll start off with asking what you think the singles were for this album. There were 4 singles for this one as well. We'll start with BC on this one. Yeah, good luck trying to figure out.
There were 4?
There were 4 of them.
4?
Yep.
I never heard of any of them.
I'm just gonna throw a dart at them.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm gonna throw a darts, Paranoid Android,
Okay.
Let Down, Climbing the Walls, and Lucky.
Okay. How about you, BB?
I'll just go the ones I didn't hear. Airbag, Karma Police. Was that Fitter, Happier?
You think Fitter Happier was a single?
Oh wait, no, that's a
Did you
computer
listen to that
song.
one?
That's a computer song. Wait. I'm just going by the ones. Election Earring
Yeah, electioneering.
and Climbing Up. Did you say Climbing Up the Walls?
He did say climbing up the wall.
No Surprises.
Okay. Dad, how about you?
The lullaby song.
I'm going to say electro-engineering,
Electioneering.
whatever. I need electric shock therapy is what I fucking need. I'm going to say Airbag,
Airbag, okay.
Paranoid Android, and Exit Music.
Okay. Forfeit. So the singles were Paranoid Android, Karma Police, Lucky, and No Surprises. Those were the singles for this album.
I had two.
Utah, give me
I
2.
think I have 1.
So, the reason why I picked OK Computer by Radiohead, it is a very iconic alt-rock album. A lot of people consider it Radiohead's best album. This is kind of a different direction for them from the previous 2 albums. Of course, you've heard the song Creep.
Yes.
That's from...
I was hoping that was on here.
No, that's unfortunately from, I think, Pablo Honey or the Bends, one of those 2, which are the 2 albums before. But, this is kind of a different vibe for them. They were taking inspiration from Miles Davis and a couple of other, like, jazzy things going on there. Portishead, I think, was another influence that they mentioned. I'm sure that, Dad, you being a big Portishead fan, you could hear the influence within those.
That's what I immediately thought of.
Okay, so let's go through the track list. Airbag to start us off. Instrumental Cacophony to open us up with the drum machine intro. You're immediately knowing what you're getting into on this song. Tom York's haunting vocals break through. I love how you can hear everything pretty distinctly. The production is very much that you can kind of pick out the individual pieces. Electric tinged strings coming in and out through the song. Really spacey guitars in the middle, and I really like the bass and drums doing a little groove. It's kind of a songscape of sorts. Back half of the song has a lot of stop-start with weird record scratch electronic bits. I said at the end of this song, it's a good harbinger of what this album is going to be like. Paranoid Android, the one of the songs that I knew before I listened to this album. Electronic beat count into a cool acoustic riff. There's some maracas in the background. I love Tom's high vocals. The riffs on the song are really cool. I love the ding 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 ding. Very cool, slick riff. And you think the song's going to keep that vibe the whole time, but then there's an electric kick in. There's kind of a squealing solo happening. And then we bring the tempo down for kind of a meditative, ohm part that's, I'm sure is very impactful if you're blitzed out of your mind. But I do enjoy it even without the use of substances. I love the layered vocals at the end, then back to the heaviness of the previous part, right, to close out the song. Then we go into Subterranean, Homesick, Alien. Nice clean electric intro, very echoey electronics, and some nice soothing organ. There's a very driving instrument in the song, the organ. There's a cool, louder chorus, and this is kind of a jazzier song. A little bit of the jazz influence on this one. Exit music for a film. This song is kind of based off of Romeo and Juliet. We got echoey vocals to go with plaintive music, acoustic. Weird noises start to swell in over halfway through, and then the drums start with a real fuzzy guitar or bass, I'm not sure which one, and then it has a nice gradual build to Tom's louder vocals, and then it ends quiet. And then we go into Let Down, nice clean intro, kind of a sweeter sounding song with the arpeggiated guitars. A little instrumental change up halfway through as things get a little more discordant. Then there's some video game-ish synth to end the song off. Karma Police, this was the other song that I knew before, like I'd listened to this album back in the day. Very piano-driven at the start. I love there's the swelling instrument towards the end. It's like the... I like that like little electronic part. And that's kind of the end of side one. And we open up with Fitter Happier, Dad's favorite, a transitionary track. There's speech-to-text robot, very uncomfortable. There's this echoey, discordant piano underneath. It's nothing. But then we go into what I consider the hidden gem of the album. And I think this is the one that I could probably say would be some of your favorites. Because it's so different from the rest of the album. Electioneering. King of kind of a Western-sounding guitar to start. And it's a very cool driving song that's very different from what came before and what will come after. A little bit of cowbell in the background. We even get a little bit of a solo towards the back end of the song. And the song honestly rips. The fun fact about it, the band hates the song. And a lot of the fans think it does not belong in the album. So that's the kind of fans you're dealing with there. I disagree. I think it's a very nice palate cleanser for everything else that comes before and after. That's just me. Climbing Up the Walls, track 9, back down to the typical album vibe. There's cool flock of seagulls-like sounds going on. Tom's vocals are slightly fuzzy in this song. I like the heavy pickup in the back half. The band kind of jams underneath the strings and make a cacophony as Tom screams his vocals. Then we go into No Surprises. This was recorded in a single take. A very plaintive guitar to open the song. Very happy, Beach Boys, wouldn't it be nice sounding. It has one of my favorite kind of situations in music where the instrumentals are very happy and positive sounding, but the lyrics are really kind of sad and like that kind of distance between the lyrics and the instrumentals. I think that's always a really cool thing when that happens. The penultimate song, track number 11, Lucky. Soft opening, a weird whirling noise underneath the guitar. Nice guitar lick over the chorus. Very bombastic for what they normally do. You get another guitar solo at the back end of the song that sounds really cool, and there's a choir underneath. And then we end off with The Taurus, which is a very bluesy jazz club song that's a very sparse kind of come down from the wall of sound that the rest of the album is. So let's start with BC. BC, what did you think of Radiohead's OK Computer, buddy?
Okay. I'm going to apologize to Dylan first.
Take a drink first, BC. Take a drink.
Apologize to Dylan. Apologize to you guys. This is all my fault. I made Dylan listen to 4 hours of Sax Demons.
Yeah.
This is a revenge episode.
This is a revenge episode. As soon as I put this on, I mean, and of all the albums we're talking tonight, I had trouble getting through this.
Mm-hmm. It's understandable.
Yeah. For me, I mean, and the older I get, the more I go back to my youth. But I'm trying. I was hoping for Creep.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm looking at it going, no, Creep. Okay, maybe it'd be Creep-like. And there was no Creep-like.
Nope.
And I was like, and I'm out cutting the grass, have the phones going. I'm like,
Then he laid down in front of the lawnmower, threw his ear pods in front of it.
I would find myself just going and like, and I don't even know there's music playing because there was nothing that was grabbing me. Mm-hmm. And I mean, hey, I respect everybody has a band out there and does this for a living. God bless you. I mean, you'll be able to do that. But this is definitely not my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. And there were, I probably about 3 good times, and I was like,
"Yep,
I can't."
I will say I was going into this knowing that you would all not like it, so you could be as brutal as you want.
I mean,
I just wanted to be able to show you a different vibe of alternative rock.
Oh God, yeah, I understand that. But, I mean, hey, they gotta be doing something right.
Yeah, they have a lot of fans.
They have a lot of fans, and they're doing this for a living. So,
yep. They released one of their albums for free online, or like you could pay what you want for it.
Oh, right.
So.
Could they pay me? Could they pay me?
DB, what did you think of OK Computer?
Yeah, I think it's easier to write down when you're poking fun at an album than compared to actually reviewing it because like this album was just like you said, it's not in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I can't understand what people think about our music that listen to this.
Exactly. So you can't knock these people because like they're probably
You know
looking at
what I
us
mean?
going, "What the fuck is what that is?"
Yeah, what
the fuck is Lizzie Borden?
fucking Ingve? Who's this fucking Ingve guy? Like, yeah, this album was very weird. I've never heard anything off of this album. So I'm going in blind. So opens up with Airbag, the guitar distortion, and the record scratching like they are a hip-hop group are very annoying. Paranoid Android, the actual little solo, what it was, it actually had potential. I thought it was really, I thought it could have went somewhere, but of course it. The
Zach
Siberian.
Wild guessed it on that.
No, I forgot to mention Zach Wild.
BB was never on the show again.
Co-wrote every song. What have I done?
Oh my gosh. Siberian Homesick Alien. Maybe I have to be high to understand this one. It's almost like it's almost like U2 and the Acid Beatles had a baby. Another one I didn't get. Karma Police. The piano's a nice change. Too bad I can't understand the vocals of what he is saying. Fitter, Happier. Computer singing a song really fucking stupid. Election Earring. Cowbell can't even save this song. The guitar is cool. I guess so far this is the best song on the album.
Cowbell can't even save this song.
Climbing Up the Walls. I have Saint Anger drums. That's all I thought. There was that twang to it.
Walls.
Oh yeah.
No surprises. Lullaby music with boring vocals. Lucky. The guitar and drums have some good moments. And The Tourist, thank God this fucking album is over.
Okay.
And like I said, this is like not even. I want to see if somebody held back on this one or he just went full bore.
Well, here's the thing. Part of the reason why I picked this album is to usurp the Blue Album as the worst album that we had on the podcast in your eyes. And I hope it did the job. Because I'm sick of hearing that the Blue Album is the worst album you've listened to on this podcast, because it's not.
We'll see.
What'd you think?
We'll see. Number one.
I love you, Dylan.
Dylan, I love you. Like the son you are. And Dave Borowski, I love you too.
I was going to say...
Because he wanted me to listen to this album.
Yes.
Sorry, fellas. Airbag. It's got like a murky feel, some mandolin, muted drums. The production's horrible off the bat. The whiny vocals. I fucking hate... and I really wrote, I'm going to hate this album. And it's like 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
The shuffling drums are okay. There's sort of a solo, I guess, that has a little fast picking in it. Some weird electronic interlude at the end of the song. Song's different. Not a great song. Not a great start. Paranoid Android, acoustic start, some shuffling sounds, a little plinky guitar in there, even more whiny vocals, worse than on the first fucking song. Cringeworthy. There's like talking in the background. Terrible. There is a cool acoustic part like about 2 minutes in, but then it gets ruined when the guy starts to sing again. It gets really heavy about 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. Pretty good guitar solo. And then it sucks again when it goes back down. These whiny vocals are fucking terrible. It goes back up for the last 40 seconds.
I knew he was going to hate Tom York's voice.
Some cool guitar at the end of the song. Subterranean, Homesick Alien. Got a Pink Floyd feel to it. A little spacey thing that has a U2 feel in there once he starts to sing. The vocals I don't like totally hate on this one. Like the drums are odd on this. They got like a shuffling sound to them that are... It's just, especially after listening to fucking Green Day.
Yeah.
There's some cool keyboards and synths. Some of the keyboards and synths remind me of the Doors, a little bit like kind of like at the end of like Riders on the Storm kind of thing. This one wasn't bad.
Which one was that?
Subterranean,
Okay.
Homesick Alien. Dumbass name for a song, by the way.
I think it was a reference to a Bob Dylan song, so there you go.
There you go. That's all I needed to know. Exit music for a film, acoustic star, softer vocals. 1 minute in, I'm fucking falling asleep. This makes me want to exit the fucking album. And I literally wrote, do people actually like this shit? Ultra whiny vocals. The drums are... Some drums that, like, almost 3 minutes in. There's an annoying buzz in this song. Mm-hmm. It's like, throughout the whole song, I thought something was fucked up with my earbuds, so I kept on taking them the fuck out. And it wasn't. It was in the fucking song. This song is trash. And how I will go about these, I will usually listen to the albums. I've said it before. I usually once or twice, and then I will go back, and then I will do my notes. I'm like literally, I'm doing my fucking notes the first time because I'm not gonna want. I know I'm not gonna want to listen to this fucking thing again. But I would literally listen to like probably two or three songs at the most, and I would have to get up and listen to something else, and then come back to it. It took me like 3 days to do this fucking review for this album. Let Down. Plunky guitar. Wow, there's drums after about 10 seconds. All right. Mellow vocals. The bass line's decent, but please make it stop. There's a little bit of a pickup somewhere in there. There's a weird middle part. This one sucks too. Karma Police, piano acoustic start. Are these guys considered a rock band? Are they really?
Yeah.
I don't know. God damn, this is terrible. And is there a high suicide rate among their fans? Seriously, I'm like Pooney. I want to drive the car off a bridge. If this was in, I never played one of these songs in the car. Fitter, Happier. Come on, guys. Like, come on. Electioneering. Playing a guitar start. There's some cowbell in this one. There's actually some fucking cowbell in this one. So Christopher Walken showed up for about 3 seconds. But the vocals, they're horrible. They're like terrible. Again, fuzzy kit production here. We do get somewhat of a guitar solo. I really, at this point, I didn't think they fucking had it in them. It's not great, but it's there. This one is tolerable for me. Climbing the Wall.
We got it tolerable.
Climbing the Walls. This is what this album has me fucking doing already.
Yep.
Back to low tempo shit. Brutal. No surprises. No, there are no surprises on this album. It sucks like I thought it would. This is not what I go to music for. Mm-hmm. This is like the thing that when I hear alternative music, I think, no, this is why. This is why.
Yeah, I had to put an example of that.
Yeah, so thank you for getting this out of my system. Lucky, come on, more whiny drivel. Middle part is somewhat okay for what passes as a guitar solo on this one. But the 30 seconds at the end of this album are the best 30 seconds on the fucking album. The Tourist. This song sounds familiar. I don't know why. It has, like, I feel like I've heard it before. Like, extra whiny vocals at the end of the album. Like, I mean, guys, like... it picks up with, like, a minute and a half left. There's, like, a little solo section there. I do kind of like the last part of this song. For me, like, there's literally, like, 2 minutes on this whole album that I think are fucking tolerable. And no one mentioned, it ends with a triangle ping. Bing!
It does, yeah. There's like a little bell that ends the...
And Dylan, I want you to read the last line that I have on this page.
I'll take fucking Weezer any day, time over this shit. Yes! I've done it.
I would listen to fucking Weezer Blue Album on a loop for a week before I would listen to this album
Mission
again.
accomplished.
Like my partner on the Queen's Wright podcast says, I hated it, and I'll never listen to it again.
Yes, I apologize that I had to have you all listen to that. I like it personally. I think it's a very cool, like, meditative album to kind of have, like, on as, like, you're kind of thinking about stuff. I know that that's not really what you guys go to music for.
Because that makes me think of suicide.
And this is probably the most alternative album that we're going to be talking about tonight. So I wanted to make sure that I was giving you that shade of it as well. Not just the, more rocking.
Not just the fun stuff?
Yeah, not just the fun stuff. Because alternative is not just fun.
That's what I go to music for fun.
I know. But alternative is not just fun. So I needed to give that to you.
What's the matter with these kids today?
Hopefully we'll be picking it up in the back half of this episode. But before we do that, we're going to go into our gems. And the gem song I'm going to do is actually going to be kind of an introduction into the next part of the episode. It's going to be a song by the next band we're going to be talking about, Paramore, off of the album after the album we're going to be talking about. The song is going to be called Ignorance. So you'll be hearing Paramore's Ignorance, and then you'll be hearing us right after this.
I'm a bad person, you don't like me. Well, I guess I'll make my own way. It's a circle, a mean cycle. I can't excite you anymore. Where's your gavel, your jury? What's my offense this time? You're not a judge, but if you're gonna judge me, well, sentence me to another life. Don't wanna hear your sad songs, I don't wanna feel your pain. But it's always not my fault, 'cause you know we're not the same. We're not the same. Ignorance is your new best friend. And this is the best thing that could have happened. Any longer and I wouldn't have made it. It's not a war, no, it's not a rapture. I'm just a person, but you can't take it. The same tricks that once fooled me, they won't get you anywhere. I'm not the same kid from your memory. Well, now I can fend for myself. Don't wanna hear your sad songs, I don't wanna feel your pain. When it's all it's not my fault, 'cause you know we're not the same. We're not the same. Oh, we're not the same. Yeah, we used to stick together. We wrote our names in blood. But I guess you can't accept that change is good. It's good. It's good. Will you treat me just like another stranger? Well, it's nice to meet you, so I guess I'll go. I best be on my way out. You treat me just like another stranger. Well, it's nice to meet you, so I guess I'll go. I best be on my way out. Ignorance is your new best friend. 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 Will you treat me just like another stranger? Well, it's nice to meet you, so I guess I'll go. I best be on my way out. You treat me just like another stranger. Well, it's nice to meet you, so I guess I'll go. I best be on my way out.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Paramore with Ignorance off of the brand new Eyes album. And I hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully you'll enjoy the next album we're going to be talking about. But before we get to that, we're going to start with our hidden gems. And I'll start us off because I think, Dad, you'll enjoy this hidden gem that I'm about to give to you. Weezer covered one of the songs from OK Computer.
Oh, good lord.
They covered Paranoid Android. So my hidden gem is going to be Weezer's cover of Paranoid Android. It is very cool. I like it a lot. You would hate it. But I wanted to keep my hidden gem in the realm of alternative. So that's my hidden gem. How about you, Dad? What do you got for your hidden gem?
I had to get a hidden gem as far away from the shit as I fucking could. And actually, it's funny because this is how I said before that I would have to listen to a couple songs, write the stuff down, and then get away from it. And I was just like, I gotta listen to something else. So I was scrolling through my catalog on my Apple Music, and I'm like, ooh, I haven't heard these guys in a while. Band called Tango Down. Me and BC used to rock out to these guys a long time ago, and they were one of the Kibble Records bands back in the day. We would talk to to the guy in charge of it, and he would get us the 924 albums and all that shit. And I hadn't heard these guys in a while. And this album I had heard a lot when it first came out. It came out in 2014. It's called Charming Devil. The band is Tangled Down. It's a fun album. It's just a good, solid, hard rock, straightforward album. A lot of good hooks and choruses. A lot of great solos and stuff in there. Fun album. The antithesis of the album that we just fucking talked about for sure. So check that out. And Tangled Down is called Charming Devil. Came out in 2014.
Okay. How about you, BB? What's your hidden gem?
All right, I'm going to bring back around what we kind of talked about when Steve had the 4.5 hour commentary before he told us what we were talking about. We were talking about the Smoke from Canada. We were talking about Iron Maiden.
I'm keeping everybody up to date.
So since kind of pretty much like this alternative stuff started kind of around 1990, why not go back to 1990 from the album No Prayer for the Dying? We got Iron Maiden, we got Smoke. Why not bring out the old song Holy Smoke?
Best song on the album.
Great song, and once again, it ties everything together. I thought about that today, and I didn't realize Steve was going to talk about it, but when you look outside, it still has that smoky orange haze to it. But definitely give Holy Smoke a listen to, because 1990 Iron Maiden is still kicking ass.
Yeah, man, it really tied the room together. BC, how about you?
Good pick, BB.
Yeah!
I don't know if I'd
time.
call that a hidden gem, but
Yeah.
it's a gem.
It's a gem. That's all you need to know.
Second song on the album. It's a single. It had a music video.
Your point? It ties into the current weather conditions.
What was your hidden gem, BC?
All right. After the Radiohead dilemma, I had to go find something dirty, sleazy, just
Cleanse your soul.
cleanse my soul and wash my hair. But I'm going to the country of Finland with the Nasty Crash, they're called. Just like hard rock sleaze from Finland. But just straightforward, nothing fancy, nothing deep. Just
Just a
Straightforward,
little
good
bit of
stuff.
sleaze.
some sleaze.
Awesome. So some good hidden gems this week. I have Weezer covering Radiohead's Paranoid Android. My dad's got Tango Down with Charming Devil. BB's got Holy Smoke from Iron Maiden, the No Prayer for the Dying album that's on. And then BC's got a little sleaze with Nasty Crash. Okay, so on to the next album. Hopefully this will be a bit of a palate cleanser for everybody. This is probably the album that I have the most connection with, because this is I would say that this is a Desert Island alternative rock album for me. This is a Desert Island band for sure. One of my top 10 bands live, I would say, as well, because I saw them live for their self-titled tour. Actually, it was called the Monument Tour, but they were touring for their self-titled album. They were touring with Fall Out Boy. Oh. They kicked Fall Out Boy's ass, let me tell you. The band is Paramore, and the album is Riot, with an exclamation point at the end. So you always have to say it. You have to exclaim it whenever you say it. It came out on June 12th, 2007 through Fueled by Ramen, which was a very big pop-punk record label back in the day. Fall Out Boy was on there. Panic at the Disco was on there. This was basically like the emo record label. And of course, this was very much during my emo phase in life. I wasn't full emo, with the makeup and everything, but I would listen to this kind of music. I was a theater kid, so I was very dramatic. Yeah, exactly. The album was recorded in House of Loud in Elmwood Park, New Jersey, as well as Bennett Studios in Englewood, New Jersey. A 38-minute album. The band is Haley Williams, lead vocals, and one of the two people that are still in the band today. Josh Farrow on guitar and background vocals. Jeremy Davis is listed as playing bass, but the weird thing about Jeremy Davis is that he was kicked out of the band like 4 times. He was kicked out before they recorded the instrumentals for this album, so a man named Brian Weaver recorded the bass. However, he rejoined the band after they recorded, so he was able to do background vocals for the album, and they credited him as bass, even though he didn't play bass on the album. And then Zach Farrow, who does drums and background vocals.
other bands who do that.
Yeah. So the two Farrow brothers and Haley Williams were kind of considered the main crux of Paramore for the longest time. And then the Farrow brothers left. Haley was the only one left. Zach has returned to the band. He's still drumming with them, and it's like him, Haley, and Taylor York that are currently Paramore, along with touring members. But those were kind of like the iconic lineup back in the day. So let's go to our favorite game, Guess the Singles. We're gonna start with BB. There was 4 singles for this album. What do you think were the singles?
Definitely Misery Business.
Okay.
Definitely Hallelujah.
Okay.
When It Rains and Crush, Crush, Crush.
Okay. BC, how about you? What do you think the 4 singles were?
Definitely Misery Business. Probably Miracle.
Okay.
We Are Broken. And Born for This.
Okay. Dad, how about you? What do you think the 4 singles were?
Definitely Born for This. I'm going to say We Are Broken as well. Miracle.
Okay.
And I think Crush, Crush, Crush.
Okay. BB, you were the closest. You had 3 out of 4.
Oh.
So Misery Business, everybody got. Their most iconic song. Hallelujah was one. Crush, Crush, Crush was one. And then That's What You Get was the last single. Huh. So we're going to go into the album proper. And we open up with a banger of an intro. For Pessimist, I'm pretty optimistic. The funny thing about this song was my CD copy had a skip during this song. So every time I listen to this song, I hear the skip.
Still hear the skip.
Yeah. But I think this is a really awesome, heavy opener. Haley's vocals on this album are amazing. She is a fantastic front woman, and she's a fantastic vocalist. She has a lot of energy, both in her voice and in her stage presence. And you could really hear it on this opening song. I love the drums and the guitar as well. I think the Farrell brothers do a really good job playing off of each other. There's a cool little breakdown part towards the back end of the song that I think is a nice change of pace from that. Then we go into That's What You Get. We get our first instance of gang vocals towards the end of this song, but it's a nice little sing-along song. I just love there's kind of a weird syncopation to the main riff of the song with the dan 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 ticka ticka dan 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 ticka ticka dan. Very, very cool. Then we go into Hallelujah. This was the earliest song that they wrote for the album. It was originally going to be on their first album, but ended up on this album. Very cool showcase of Haley's vocals. She gets really high up there in this song. This is kind of a more mid-tempo song, but I still think it's great. And if you're not feeling mid-tempo songs, Misery Business is coming right at you after this. A really fantastic, bombastic track. It's named after the Stephen King, book Misery, because we're in the misery business. But this song just is a punch in the face. They always bring a fan up on stage to do the I Watched His Wildest Dreams Come True, Not One of Them Involving You, the part right before the kick-in, which the kick-in is, I always get pumped up every time I hear that kick-in because it's so epic and so just heavy for this band. They have so much energy and like bombast that it really just, it makes you want to get up and just bounce around. Track number 5, When It Rains. It's a nice come down from Misery Business. I love the echoey guitar in this song. It's kind of a cool cleanser from the heaviness of Misery Business. Then we go into Let the Flames Begin. This song actually ended up getting a sequel called Part 2 in their self-titled album, which is kind of cool. I love the drums on this song, and there's an awesome driving chorus. It's a very cool, epic song. And then we go into number 7, Miracle, another high-energy intro. That's a song that I always forget about on the album, but it is a fantastic song, and I love the time change at the end. I think that's a really cool way to switch it up. And then Crush, 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 rock and roll, baby, don't you know? I love that part with the off time cymbal that, and then the gang vocals with the hey. This is a really cool, heavy song. I love the echoey crush, 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 2, 3, 4. Like very cool way to go into the chorus.
Crush.
Not the Megadeth Crush.
Crush, crush, crush. We Are Broken. This is kind of the ballad of the album. Come down from Crush times 3, as I call it. I love the piano, and Haley's voice is just beautiful. She could really just sell a rockin' song. She could sell a heartfelt song. She just has that range that her voice sounds great in any situation. Fences, there's kind of it's like a southern western feel to it, and there's kind of a skiffle beat that I really like. There's a cool solo part towards the back end. I love the kind of stop starts that's happened in this song as well. A very, very cool upbeat song towards the end of the album. And then ending with Born for This, high energy closer. I love the gang vocals. That's a signature of pop punk is gang vocals. We would often do gang vocals for our songs when we play on stage. This is just a great way to end off the album. I love the call and response of it. It's just, for me, this is a no skip album. It's one that I go to whenever I want to get pumped up. Like you said, Dad, the Radiohead album is a very mellow, low-key album. You don't get to... This, I think, is what you're more looking for. This is kind of a fun a thing to go to for fun. You want to enjoy music. And I think this album might be what you're looking for. And something I want to point out is that Hayley Williams was 19 when she recorded this album. So that's just amazing. I don't know. That always just blows my mind. Like, her voice was that good. And still is that good. I wasn't as big a fan of their most recent album. It's kind of weird, but otherwise, Paramore's fantastic. Great live, too. BB, let's start with you for this one. What did you think of Riot?
All right, this is my guilty pleasure. I love Hayley's vocals. Mm-hmm. I was super excited when you picked this one because my daughter was into these guys for a little bit, and now she's super excited when she sent me that thing that Hayley's going to do something with Taylor Swift. So I had to send that back to Dylan that Casey sent to me because she knew I was listening to this album this week. Yeah, I love her vocals. And like I said, this album is a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me. For a pessimist, I'm pretty optimistic. The drums in this song are great. There's some really cool guitar parts, nice time changes. Hayley's vocals are fantastic. Really cool driving beat. What do you get? Cool poppy rock song. It really catches your ear. There's a very small part of the band vocals that are in there towards the end of the song, which are really, really cool. Hallelujah. This is just a great vocal performance from Hayley. There more really good drumming in this song. Misery Business, like everybody already picked. This is the song that actually pretty much carried the album. This is the first song I've actually heard from Paramore. I love the kick-in at the start. And I like how it's a little bit faster than the rest of the album. And, sometimes, like, when you hear this, I wish there was a little bit more of this sprinkled a little bit, in different places. Because this is definitely the highlight of the album for me. Definitely the song of the night for me. When It Rains, a little bit slower, but it still showcases Hayley's vocals. When the Flames Begin, more cool drumming, definitely out front. There's a little like a vocal distortion she uses on this song, which was a surprise, but it definitely caught my ear. Miracle, I like the upbeat drive to this one. And once again, hopefully BC likes this album because more of my notes, like the drumming behind this is really, really good. Crush, 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 another song that showcases Hayley's vocals. A really, really good one. We Are Broken. I love the soft vocals that she uses with this. And there's definitely that emotion behind it. You can actually feel when she's singing the song. There's even a little piano underneath, which is cool. Fences. I think you said it more like a Western. I have more like a theatrical feel. There's something to that. It's something different. It's definitely like the different song that carries this album on this second side. It's fast, it's upbeat, it's really, really good. The closer, Born for This, fast galloper upbeat, really cool call and responses, and some more gang vocals towards the end. I thought this was a great closer, and like you said, there's not a bad song on this album. And honestly, from the two Swifties down there playing Taylor Swift all the time, this is definitely nothing I'm not used to. Mm-hmm. So I really, really enjoyed listening to this, this last week. Yeah. This is a good one.
The crappy thing is that Paramore opened for Taylor on her first show, like in this tour, and that was the only show that they played. And I'm like, Paramore, I would have loved to see you open for them.
Well, maybe she said, "Don't come back. You're showing me up."
I think that's it. I think it's like Taylor knows how good Paramore is, and she would be afraid of them blowing them out of the water.
How about you don't open for me, but I'll give you a vocal credit on my
Do you want to be on the album?
You had your shot, kid.
Okay, BC, what did you think of Paramore?
No, at least musically, this I could listen to a lot more than
Then Radiohead.
the Radiohead. Yes, yeah. I mean, it's funny. I mean, to me, I always hear the drums before anything else. So I mean, I like the drums on this album. A lot of the music is good for what it is.
Yeah.
Might not be my cup of tea, but it's good for what it is. The thing is funny, BB said something that I'm like, I don't know, it's because the vocals. First, I'm like, oh, okay. And then after a while, her voice was killing me.
Oof.
And I think maybe because I'm watching too many fucking Elmo fucking cartoons and the shows with my granddaughter. Oh, you know, yeah, I think.
Good thing you're not watching Barney.
I'd be dead right now.
Elmo singing Paramore.
Yeah, like Elmo and Abby Cadabby and all this, and I hear it, and I don't, you know what I mean? I kept hearing, I'm like, oh my god, I can't, and I was tying those two together.
I think that's a you problem.
Yeah, that's definitely a BC problem.
But,
I'm sorry.
It's not a Paramore
I
problem.
don't think I've ever heard of Taylor Williams get compared to Elmo.
She would probably be really glad to hear that.
yeah,
We're so used to comparing things to Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
Cookie Monster. Now we're
We got Elmo.
Elmo.
We're gonna have
From
Big
blue to
Bird
red.
next episode.
We got Elmo vocals on this song. I don't like
We're gonna
it.
have Grover.
not so much Elmo. Abby Cadabby, her the character thing is, and I was like, and after a while, I listened to this, I was like, oh my god, I'm like, and I was laughing because I'm like, oh my god, I said, Jesus Christ, I hear this in everything in my life now.
Well, I'm sorry I gave you
No,
flashbacks.
No, but I mean, I was after a while, her voice started, and I was getting them mixed up, like, not mixed up, but hearing them both together in my head. But I like the Crush, and Born for This is probably my favorite one off this one.
Cool.
But it was much more enjoyable, tolerable than Radiohead.
Okay. Dad, how about you? What'd you think of? I'm very interested to hear what you
All right.
thoughts.
When you put these guys out there that we were doing this one, I was kind of looking forward to this one in a way. She's not hard on the eyes. The girl that sings, what's her name?
Haley Williams.
Haley.
I kind of knew what to expect, but I kind of didn't know what to expect on this one. I was kind of expecting like a Green Day album with a girl singing, which it's not.
It is not.
Which it's not. For a pessimist, I'm pretty optimistic. Pretty cool title, actually. Has like a dynamic start. The verse picks up between the lines. The parts are pretty rocking. I like her vocals. I do. The production is really good on this album. Some good there's like a good chugging time change. Like in the bridge is cool. Drums are really good. Good start to the album. That's what you get. Like it's another kind of sort of intense start. It goes down for the parts for the verses. There's a little reggae feel in a couple parts of the verse on this song that is kind of reminds you of something you might get on, like, what is it, Signals on Rust or Signals or not Signals? No, Permanent Waves. Permanent Waves.
Yeah.
There's some plinky lead notes in there during the chorus. Not too bad. This one seems like it would be a crowd pleaser live. It seemed like that this would be a song that the crowd could really get into. Hallelujah. Thank God it's not that. Hallelujah.
The Leonard Cohen.
Oh, God. I want to kill myself when I hear that one. But this has got like a driving feel to the start, like stop and start for the verses. Some melodies are cool. The vocals seem a little thin on this one. I like the change in the feel for the last minute. There's a little short solo towards the end one. This one's all right for me. It's not a great one. Misery Business. This is a fucking good one. Got like a muted mariachi thing in the beginning. Then the intensity goes up in it. The pace and the feel in the verses sort of have like a call and response in them. Like they're kind of talking to one another throughout the song. It pumps up for the chorus. There's some stomping parts in there. And this reminds me of Beasto Blanco, BC, this song. With the talking back and forth in the song kind of reminds me of Beasto Blanco. I bet you they've never heard that comparison before. There's a mellower part for the like middle, builds back in. I like this. This is a good one. When It Rains, good start, mid-tempo. I love her vocals on this one. Very sultry vocals on this one. Like very like sexy on this one. I like it. Let the Flames Begin. Little mid-tempo thing going on here. This is a pretty good one. Let the Flames Begin is good. Miracle, higher tempo start. I'll bet this is another one that goes over really good live too.
They don't play it often, but
Oh, really?
yeah.
I don't know why, because it seems like this is
It
one
is
of the
a good-
songs I think that would translate better live than some of the other tracks on here. Crush, Crush, Crush. I love this one. This is might be my favorite one on this one. Fast drum beat goes right into the verse. Layered vocals. Another one that I really good raw guitar sound in this one. The drum part towards the end, I could see them stretching this one out live too, like doing like some band intros and like a little, like a feature the drummer in a little part and introduce him and the guitar player, get him do a little thing and have the bass guy do a little slinky bass thing. I think it would be cool, and it's one of the heavier tracks on the album for me. I like that one. I think that would be great live. What?
Slinky basically.
We Are Broken.
BC's
I
broken.
like this one. I'm not a huge ballad guy. It fades into the soft vocals with the piano and the slow drum beat. This has a very Lady Gaga feel to me. It feels like one of the songs that could have been on the Stars Born soundtrack.
Okay.
It really has that feel for me. Fantastic heartfelt vocals, great ballad. Fences, cool slinky, another slinky one, BC, start to it. But it has a groove, like the bass line is killer in this one. Good pace for the chorus, but it has I don't know if you guys are familiar with the band Royal Republic. But it I think, are you a little bit? It has a Royal Republic Stray Cats feel to it in this one. You know what I mean? And I like it. It's like kind of one of them you find yourself kind of bobbing to.
Yeah, very rockabilly.
And this is another one that you get a kind of a guitar solo in there, but the music is just stomping underneath it. This track is like aces for me. This is a fun one. Born for this. They keep it up tempo. It's a kick ass album ender. This one is fucking awesome too. There's even some grindage in this one, BC. Great up tempo feel. This one's a rocker. Great. This is probably the best album ender that we will talk about tonight.
I agree
For
with that.
sure.
Yep.
It's a strong anthemic.
Yeah,
way to go out.
I would go see them live.
They kick ass live. They are so fucking good. Live.
They seem like they would be energetic live.
Yeah, Haley. Like when we saw Haley, she was like just running and bouncing across the stage and hitting all the high notes, and like it was a fantastic show. It was great.
She's a female Bruce Dickinson. Just running all,
And
all over
actually,
the place hitting high notes.
This is an album that would make me want to check out more of them.
Yeah.
Like Green Day, I know other stuff of them, so that's not an issue. Radiohead, not a fucking chance in the world. And we'll see about the next one. But,
yeah.
I really, that one would make me want to check out more of them.
Awesome. Yeah, this is an iconic.
Could use some more
album.
guitar solos. Don't get me wrong. Could always,
Yeah.
But for what it is, and like you said, I like the length of the albums. The in and out,
38 minutes.
You know what I mean? You're not
quick. Yeah, this is considered a seminal album for like a lot of people in my generation. Like this is one of the albums that it's like, American Idiot, Riot. Like these are like the albums that you kind of put up there. Fall Out Boys from Under the Cork Tree. People that like this kind of music, they're like, Riot's so fucking good. And they actually just recently started playing Misery Business again live.
Oh really?
They had
I liked it.
playing it live for a bit,
I
but-
was
really.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was surprised at how much I liked this album.
Yeah.
You would expect that to be the closer.
Yeah, well, the closer is a song that's on the album 2 albums away from this one, which is a really good closer.
Okay.
Maybe they
But,
got more rockers like me listen to it and say, "You need to play that fucking song."
There is I love Paramore when they're at their rocking, and this album has the most rocking for me. But my Hidden Gem song's also going to be a rocker, so I think you'll like that as well. That's off of the album.
We
after
already
this.
did that.
No, I know, but I'm saying like when you listen to the episode and hear that song that I have as my gem song.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like the trans. Yeah,
I get it.
So I'm glad you all like that because that was the album that I was like, okay, I think at least they'll get something from this one. And then I had to put in a live album. This one is from the White Stripes, very famous band, of course, from the album, which was also a kind of a film / documentary, Under Great White Northern Lights, released in March of 2010, but it was recorded in 2007 on their Canadian tour. They played every province in Canada. That was like kind of their the thing that they wanted to do, and it was touring to support their Icky Thump album, which was the last studio album that they would put out before they went their separate ways.
They're brother and sister.
They are not brother and sister. They were
they're not.
married, but they say that they're brother and sister. And it's a very weird thing.
That's
weird. No, it is weird.
Okay, I'm married. Yeah, that's my sister.
Yeah, that's
You have a sister?
because the
I do.
the White Stripes. So
I have two of them.
Jack White is a little weird. He's an alternative guy. He started off as like an upholsterer, and when he recorded, he used to have a band called the Upholsterers, and they would put their like singles inside the upholstery of like the furniture that they would like like in case somebody wanted to find them. But yeah, Jack White is kind of strange. He's a strange ranger, but there's only two members of the band, as we said, Jack and Meg. Jack on guitar, keyboards, vocals, Meg on drums. And the thing about this band is they're very garage rock, the blues rock kind of feel, very DIY. They used to call it, where it's like very sparse. There's not a lot going on. It's like you can't really hide behind anything because it's just like two instruments, 3 or 4 at most, and you hear everything. So this is kind of a live album that I thought would be an interesting one to put out there because we're so used to such polished live albums where like, kind of everything is piped in and you can do retakes. It's very clear that there were no retakes for this because there are mistakes on this album. There are times when Meg is off on the drums. There's times when Jack doesn't quite get to the keyboards fast enough because he is like bouncing from like the keyboards. He has like the keyboards over here. He has the main mic here. So he's like kind of bounding across the stage doing this stuff.
He's not as organized as Geddy Lee.
Well, he because in the documentary It Might Get Loud, he was talking about how he liked to challenge himself when he played live. Like he wanted it to be like a fight for him because he has this literally those plastic guitars you used to be able to buy at like JCPenney, you could buy from the catalogs. He plays with one of those guitars in the White Stripes. He plays with those shitty department store
like a
guitar.
$50 guitar.
He's I want to be fight the guitar, have it and kind of get that thing. It's very pretentious.
He's a weirdo.
I agree.
Now we know why the album's no.
I won't go through track by track because there were 16 tracks, but I'm gonna hit on some of the songs that I like. I think Black Math is a fantastic song, covered by Anthrax. On their, I think it was the Beast.
I knew I knew this one. I couldn't think of where the fuck I knew it from.
Yeah, Anthrax.
Why do I know that name?
Blue Orchid, I always liked. I think that's a really hard drive-in one. That's really cool. Union Forever, I always thought was fucking weird. I'm not a big fan of that. Icky Thump is a classic. I love their cover of Jolene from Dolly Parton. I think it's very different from the original version. So I appreciate that difference to it. I just don't know what to do with myself. A little bit of crowd call and response. The Burt Bacharach song, Dad. Come on, you got to give it up for.
Which one?
I just don't know what to do with myself.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, Burt Bacharach.
I thought I knew that one too.
Don't you have the Burt Bacharach Greatest Hits on vinyl?
But it's a different version.
Yeah. And Seven Nation Army, of course, at the end is a classic. The first song that I ever played live in front of an audience, even though there was no bass in that song whatsoever.
But it sounds like a bass, though, dude.
It does sound like a bass. Yeah, the very first song I ever played live. But this is a very raw live album. I think Jack's vocals work really well sometimes and don't at other times. There are times where he gets a little weird with it, but I think that when it works really well. And his interplay with Meg is very interesting because you can hear him calling out kind of intros to Meg as they're going. You can hear him do a little shout, and that's kind of the cue to change up. So it's almost like they're doing a jam band thing where they're extending out something and they're just waiting for the cue to go into the next part. So I like that instance of it where you can kind of see behind the scenes of this is when we're going to go into this, and this is so I really appreciate that aspect of it. And also a cool thing about it is songs like Fell in Love with a Girl, Ball and Biscuit, When I Hear My Name, they're very different from the studio versions. Completely different from the studio versions. I like the studio version better for Ball and Biscuit, but that's just me. So it's cool that they switch it up live. They change it so that it's a different kind of feel to it. Plus, Dad, this album opens up with bagpipes. You love bagpipes.
I do like bagpipes.
So you got the bagpipes coming out to start us. So yeah, I'm very interested to hear what you think of this album. I don't expect huge praise from it. But again, I wanted to show another vein of alt rock that I think was a very important part of alt rock and was very big in the day. And they have a lot of blues influence, which I found very, very interesting. So we're going to start with BC on this one. What'd you think of this one, BC?
All right, the White Stripes. I mean, I've heard of these guys before, and I heard that. I have it written down here, Seven Nation Army. I heard that song before, so I wasn't totally unaware of these guys. I thought they were brother and sister too. So
Well, they advertised as brother and sister, but they
Okay.
were actually married. Because he literally says,
That's weird.
that's
"My name
not-
is Jack, and
And
this
actually,
is my
that
big sister
fits
Meg."
into something I have on this too.
Yeah, it's because they wanted the mystery, and they would only wear red, white, and black on stage. And like the Meg's drum head was like a peppermint kind of situation. So like they were very like, it was like kind of the iconography, like the image of the band was just as important as the music of the band, kind of like Kiss. So there you go, Dad. Sorry,
But,
BC, continue.
no.
All right.
Okay, White Stripes. So I'm always a fan of live music most of the time, right? No, but I mean, it opens up with bagpipes. I'm like, all right. I'm like, all right. And then it kicks this on. I'm like, all right. This is not totally surprised. I expected most of this because, I mean, not that I really listen to these guys or even follow these guys in any form, but you go in a record store, there's always something on the wall, White Stripes, this,
Yep.
or that, you know.
And
It seems like the record store day, it seemed like
well, yeah, because
There's
you could say
always-
Jack White is kind of like the one person that really spearheaded bringing vinyl back as big as it is.
I would say
So
that.
like he was like an ambassador for Record Store Day for a long time, and his company Third Man Records like was one of the first companies to get back into mass producing vinyl.
You could go to his studio and record
Yes.
a 45.
Yeah, he has
Oh,
like
really?
he has
Yeah.
like a
That's cool.
record.
We were there. We were there.
He has a record a single booth in the Nashville Third Man Records.
It's like a trailer. You can go in there and you can record a 45, and they'll press it right there for you.
Yep.
That's cool. So, again, like I said before, we talked about the first album. I mean, this is somebody's cup of tea, and I respect this. Hey, these guys, they're doing this. I'm not up there doing anything like this, so I respect this stuff. But like, I think you touched on vocal, like focus on it. Okay, and then other times like, oh, what the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he would
I
go,
found
like,
myself doing that a lot of
screechy
time.
and, yeah.
I love the standout is the guitar and the Blue Orchard. I mean, again, I liked a lot of parts of this, and there's a lot of parts that like, but I'm not familiar with it. So
Yeah.
I like me listening to this like, oh yeah, I know this one. I know it. Like when you listen to the live album, you're like, yeah, they're doing it. Aces high. But I'm like,
Yeah, you don't get.
I'm
it
going in
with this
blind, so
familiarity.
I'm not. I wasn't familiar with the music except for the Seven Nations Army, the 300 MBA.
Yeah, 300 mile
Upward
per hour
blues.
torrential downpour blues.
I like that too. That stood out. That caught my ear, which surprisingly something caught my ear in this. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that
It's different from the other songs.
this is different from their songs.
Yeah.
I mean, but overall, I mean, I liked the interaction with the crowd. He was a two Paul Stanley, but I one part I like this and I can like all you other girls. Too.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
He likes
all right.
redheads. He likes
He
redheads.
talks about redheads quite a bit. Yeah,
he said, but I can like all you other girls too. I'm like,
because that's
yeah,
very
yeah,
that's
like,
very
yeah.
blues. Like that's the blues.
Is Meg a redhead?
No, she is not.
Okay.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's so funny about it. But like, it's a very blues influenced thing of like kind of like improvising like a little song thing, like interacting with the crowd.
I picked up in the parts and I'm like, but I can like you, all you other girls
Yeah.
too. I'm like, all right, all right, you got thumbs up there.
Not excluding anybody.
Not good anybody. I'll take all of it. But
I think
mean,
that was in Ball and Biscuit. Yeah.
But I find myself, I can listen to this. Am I gonna go for it every time I want to listen to something live? Probably not. But
Yeah.
it was it. I mean, Radiohead is. I'm sorry, that was brutal.
Yeah,
What?
everything looks
Radiohead
good
is
compared to
brutal. After Radiohead,
Everything was refreshing.
everything was like, okay. All right, drums, okay. All right, yes.
Well, and the funny thing is that there has always been a very long-standing debate about the drums in the White Stripes. A lot of people say that Meg is an awful drummer. I don't think she's the best drummer, but I think her drumming works for the music.
Yes.
Like everybody kind of like looked at Meg as kind of like a childish drummer. And I think
If it fits the music, it fits the
that's
music.
well, and I think that was also part of the thing
good,
because
yeah.
Meg was a very shy person. So Jack was always kind of the spokesperson, the front man in the band, and like her, like she's kind of a very freewheeling drummer where it's like very simple, you know, the ones and twos, but like if you had like super complicated drum patterns, it would completely.
It would be different for the song. It would make the songs different.
It would completely mess up the.
You
the
can't
guitar
have Green
stuff.
Day's drummer playing this
No,
shit.
you can't have Trey Cool
no.
with
No.
no.
Well, I understand what you mean. Like people, she's a shitty drummer.
Yeah.
Well, as far as overall,
She's
drumming,
not playing fucking.
not-
Yeah, she's
You know,
not
doing,
playing basketball case.
She's not playing Aces
yeah,
High.
she's not doing
No.
triplets or anything
Yeah.
like that.
No,
Like,
no, but this ain't triplets.
She's
music.
solid.
Yeah.
She was solid for what she was playing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
like-
know what people expect. Like,
like-
it's
When I saw the band The Picture Books,
Mm-hmm.
they open up for Steve Harris, British Lion. It's a guy on guitar and a guy with not even a regular drum set.
Yeah,
There's
just-
no cymbals. It was a bass drum, and he was playing. But it fucking rocked.
yeah.
It fit what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to say the greatest drummer was okay? Nico McBrain, whoever this guy is.
Yeah.
his band.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to mention his name.
No.
But what he was
but
doing,
if it
I'm
fits for what they're doing, it.
And
Yeah.
like there was no hi hat. He had like almost like what the people wash their clothes on, hillbillies.
Yeah.
The washboard.
Oh, the washboard, yeah.
But you know what? You could probably not throw a guy like Nico McBrain in a band like that.
No.
You know, you couldn't do it.
It's a completely different vibe.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of this album, Dad?
All right.
I love the smirk at the
Yeah.
beginning of all this.
I love it goes.
Every
All
time.
right.
All right.
All right. Everyone's heads just go fucking. I was like, this is another. I'm like, fucking White Stripes. I knew we were gonna do one of these eventually.
Yeah.
I thought this was fucking awesome.
Really? Wow.
I thought this album was fucking fan-fucking-tastic. The first song had me thrown because the bagpipes were cool, but then the screaming vocals in the first song, I'm like, this is not the way to... Literally, the first thing you wrote, the bagpipes in the beginning, already better than Radiohead. I didn't know if the production was bad or this is just how they sounded live. But like the first song is not indicative of the rest of the album for me. Black Math, like I said, that was I'm like, where do I fucking know that name from? It sounds familiar. Like a lot of squeals and shit. There's a cool time change in this one, and like, but it's weird because it like slows down almost like a fucking stop. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, like you're stopping in the middle of a fucking song. It was weird, but not bad. Little Ghost, I love the mandolin in the song. I will be shocked, fucking shocked, if BB does not like this fucking song. This feels like a song you would go into a fucking pub in fucking Ireland or something, grab a pint,
Yeah.
drink it down. Sounds like something Queen would do. It has a Queen feel for me. And this song could definitely be played like in a smoky Irish pub. Blue Orchid, heavy start, stopping feel. The vocals are a little weird. I like his lead playing. It's so like chaotic,
Yeah.
but the riff is cool.
I
like
so
that
much.
Union Forever. I get a Black Sabbath like doomy feel on this one. There's some keyboards that sound really cool, but there's a rhyme fest in the middle where he rhymes all this shit.
Yeah, that's from
So he
Citizen
should
Kane.
throw in there to ingest and digest the manifest of the incest. Should be thrown in there too because of the weird stuff he said with the sister wife kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's weird that
that's,
I literally wrote that down and it like fits to what the fuck you said. But I really like that song. It's fucking cool. Ball and Biscuit keyboards start out this one. Stop and start vocal thing there. There's a tension that builds in this song. Another good one. I like it. Icky Thump. Now listen, BB. Remember? You know where Carl's garage is down the street here?
Yes.
Right? You know the house that used to be next to it that's torn down now next to Steven's house?
Yes.
The girl that used to live there, her name was Icky. That was her name, Icky. And she literally had it on her fucking license plate, Icky. So that kind of like, I'm like, holy shit, we have an Icky song here. And, speaking of chaotic, I mean, this one goes like, there's some cool riffing and shit in there. Heavy effects on the guitar. these guys are on a roll. I'm digging this shit like right now. I'm like at this point I'm like I can't believe I'm fucking digging this shit, but I'm digging this shit. I'm slowly turning into you. Weird computer keyboards in the beginning, but this one's got the yes. I'm going I'm listening to this going yeah to it. I'm like holy fuck, fun song. Jolene. I'm like, is this a Dolly Parton song? I'm like, yeah, this is the fucking Dolly Parton song. It's not bad. There's like, kind of guitar and shit in the beginning that reminds me of the end from The Doors.
Yeah, it's like kind of.
It has that feel to it. I don't even mind the falsetto on this one. Goes back down, weird choice. And this is like he finally introduces himself and Meg in the band, like song 9. But one thing that gets me, he never thanks the crowd at all on this fucking album. End of the song, thank you. Next song, nothing, not a thing. 300 mile per hour torrential outpour blues. This is the best fucking song on the album. I love the the acoustic guitar, if that's what it is on this one. It's fucking fantastic. I love the up and down for it. He busts out some leads. So I don't know. Is it an acoustic guitar and then he switches a switch and it's electric?
I think
but it feels like an acoustic guitar.
I'll have to go back and look the footage. It wouldn't surprise me if he had both on stage and he switches.
But I think it's fucking fantastic. I'm like, holy shit! Like, and again in the back of my head, like, Steve, you're actually liking this? What the fuck? Like, it's literally going on in my head. We Are Going to Be Friends has a country feel to it. Some quick singing. I like it too. I just don't know what to do with myself. I didn't know that was a Burt Bacharach song. And like I said, the crowd kind of sings this one with them. The crowd sings it there.
It's a Dusty Springfield song written by Burt Bacharach.
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
So the crowd, so you can tell the crowd knows this one.
Yeah.
Not bad. It's not a standout for me. But the next song has the coolest fucking title of a song that we will hear tonight. Prickly Thorn, but Sweetly Warned. That's fucking cool. The mandolin starts off again. We are back in the Irish pub, BB. Once again, I would be surprised if BB didn't like this one. I would definitely drink a fucking pint to this song. Fell in love with a girl. I like it. I love the cadence in the verse. It goes back to the heavy sounding guitar. The crowd singing back to him.
And the wild thing about that song is that it's usually a very up-tempo song in the album version. And it changes up. Yeah, it's completely different on the album.
Oh, that's cool. When I hear my name, like, kind of blends in from the last one. A little stomping guitar. But this is a song, like, I still can't, it reminds me of another song, but I can't, it will not sink into my fucking head. A lot of crazy shit, a lot of screaming and different shit going on in that one. Seven Nation Army. This was literally the only song I fucking knew going into this one.
You knew Jolene.
Well, Jolene, yeah, but I mean, like, of their songs. But that do that's undeniable. That is just so cool, so catchy. But I like when it gets to down, when you get that extra little riff in there. I like it. But what I like about this too is the bagpipes play them out like they played them in at the end. Yep. I fucking thought this album was fucking killer.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, too. Like, I can't believe that I like this as much as I fucking liked it.
That is awesome.
BB is over there. BC and BB are fucking their jaws. Pick your jaw off the table, people, please.
Okay, BB.
So listen. Yeah. So when you edit this, put BB before me and then have me and Dad go last.
What'd you think of it, BB?
Yeah, I was actually maybe I went into this one too hyped up because I was very excited because I've never heard this album before. I'm like, oh, Seven Nations Army, this album's got to be good, blah, blah, blah. Who knows what other songs are going to be on here. And maybe I just hyped myself up too much because right out of the gate, you can tell how the tempo's already set for me. I go, like everybody said, cool bagpipes intro. The drums and guitar are all over the place, and I have no clue what he's saying. So, like, right out of the gate, I don't get that rhythm feel to the album. I have no clue what he's fucking saying. Because I'm walking around, I'm just listening. The only time I know what he says, when I sit down and watch the lyrics go by. Like, oh, okay. That and that for me, I think it just kills me. So black math, I wrote, I'm glad I didn't have black math in high school because I would have failed because I don't like the song.
I would have failed.
And Little Ghost, oh, thank God I'm back in Ireland. A very cool old Irish folklore song. See, so Righty already knew, and like the other one we're going to talk about. Blue Orchid, I actually like the music and the beat of the song. It has a really cool, gritty, dirty riff to it, but I still can't understand what he's saying. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not familiar with the song. Maybe if I knew the songs, I'm like, oh, I know what he's saying. Because when we get back to another song, I think they just kill it. They actually ruin the song live. The Union Forever, the whining theatrical vocals of the song actually kill me. Ball and Biscuit, the best part of this song is the outro solo. It kind of has a Tom Morello feel to it. So I'm like, ooh. And then the same thing with Icky Thump. These outro solos are the best part of the album. I don't like the song or the what he's saying, but then when he stops singing and him and Meg just go off, I'm like, ooh, I like that. You know what I mean? I like that. Jolene, they definitely made this cover their own. It works for a White Stripe fan. I think, in my eyes, that they actually lost the feeling of the song. But like I said, it's how they perceive the song. So I'm not going to knock it. 300 Mile Per Hour Outpour Blues, cool little acoustic number. I actually like this one, and it definitely has potential. But once again, it's a little bit slower, so I kind of knew what he was saying. We're going to be friends. I cannot believe I was making dinner yesterday, playing this song. Casey comes in, she starts singing the song. I'm like,
Yeah, Casey!
I'm like, how do you know this song? Oh, this is the White Stripes, isn't it? Like,
I love her.
oh my God, I'm done with you.
She can live up here if she wants
right.
to.
Prickly Thorn, but Sweetly Torn, another Irish number. Absolutely like this one again. And then Seven Nation Army, I don't know what it was. Like, this is the one I'm like, oh, this is going to be really good. Except for the ending bagpipe. I don't know what it is, but I like the original album version, different than the live version. I really think they lost something. And and once again, there's only two of them, and they're going back and forth, changing shit. Like, maybe that was a thing. I thought the song really didn't work live.
Okay. Yeah, they do it at a faster tempo for sure.
Right.
So that might be part of it.
That could be it. But and I'm like, but yeah, that album was like I said before. Maybe I hyped it up too much, and I expected a little more, and then I didn't get what I expected, but it wasn't bad. I would still actually listen to it again. I'm not going to go buy the shirt. I'm not going to go buy the deluxe LP.
Yeah.
But I would definitely, listen to it again. Well, maybe BC would.
Yeah, it's so interesting because Jack White had so many different projects after the White Stripes. He had the Raconteurs. He had the Dead Weather. He still has his solo stuff. And when he first started the solo stuff, he had an all-female backing band and an all-male backing band, and he would switch each night which band he would have behind him.
He's a weirdo.
He is a weirdo. He is a weirdo, but I love him for it. There's nobody else like him. But I like what he does for music because it's very different from everything else.
Yeah.
It has a lot of influence from blues, which I think is a really cool foundation. And then he kind of builds up from there. But I'm glad that you all listened to it. I think that it was a good indicator of that kind of area of alt rock that the other albums didn't quite have, because you have such like heavily produced stuff like Radiohead's OK Computer, and then you have this with just like guitar, drums, and the live audience. So very different kind of vibes. But that was our first alt rock block, first of many, as I'm sure.
We'll see.
I think it would be interesting to go around the table and rank the albums. I'll start. The ranking for me goes Riot number 1. That album holds a special place in my heart. There's no skips on that album for me. They kick ass. Paramore is one of my top bands. They're fantastic. I would go White Stripes number 2 because I used to watch this documentary all the time. So I have these versions of the song in my head. I can't listen to the studio version of Blue Orchid because it's too slow compared to the live version, which is really interesting. But I think it's a great live album, a good showcase of the band. Then I'll go Green Day, Dookie. It's just a really great, fast-paced hard rock album or punk album. And then OK Computer at number 4. Not as low down as the rest of you, I'm sure will have it. I still like OK Computer, but I'm more in the mood to go to the other 3 albums than I am. Like more times I'm going to go to those other 3 albums than OK Computer. I have to be it has to be kind of a cloudy day for OK Computer to get onto the
I have
rotation.
a phone number for you to call if you want to listen to Radiohead.
Yeah, walk down and talk to Randy.
Yeah.
I want to listen to radio.
She's Wayne County, but I'm sure she can hook you up with Lackawanna County.
Dad, what do you rank the albums?
Okay, I'm going White Stripes first, the live one. I was like
I never would have guessed.
Fucking shocked that I liked that one. I actually just put it on my Apple Music. I swear to God I did. I'm going to go Paramore next. Another one I was surprised. I actually wasn't surprised. I kind of had a feeling I was going to like this one because it seemed like it was more, like it was going to be more
upbeat.
Fun.
Yeah, fun.
More
That's
like fun stuff that and that's what I go to music for. Green Day definitely third. Chop out 3 songs in there because it kind of gets samey after a while. Mm-hmm. And fourth, I'm going to go with Weezer. That's my fourth one, the Weezer, the Blue Album. And then Radiohead's going to be like 25,623.
So is that now the official worst album that you listen to on this podcast?
By far.
We did it. We did it, Joe.
We did it.
And I'm going to report you to the Agency of Aging for Elder Abuse.
Send all hate mail to Tom York.
I'm telling your mom.
She's your mom.
I'm telling your mom.
BB, how would you rank these albums?
Well, we got the bookends, Dylan. My guilty pleasure with Paramore, number 1. And I'm going to flip-flop your picks. I'm going to go with Green Day, number 2. White Stripes, number 3. And everybody's basement pick of Radiohead.
BC didn't go yet.
Yeah, BC. BC might surprise
chickens
us all.
Run a hatch.
They're going to tour with Lizzie Borden next
He's
summer.
been thinking about it. It's been marinating in his head.
Oh, I really like that Radiohead.
The more that we talk about it.
Like it.
Well, then, okay, BC. Let's hear yours, then.
Alrighty. I'm going to go with Green Day just because familiarity.
The drums.
I love the drums on it.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's better
Very
than
cool,
anything
thank
else.
you.
Paramore probably second.
Mm-hmm.
White Stripes. Then the greatest album we ever listened to on this podcast, Radiohead.
The Mission. I mean...
Oh!
See,
There's going to be a fight.
See, this even beats The Mission.
Wow.
See, could always be worse.
Okay.
There's always worse out there, remember that.
Anybody have any final thoughts about this episode?
I like it. Again, you bring us something new to the table that 3 of us won't bring up. And I like the way you picked the singles. Like, holy fuck, I never listened to this band period. I don't own the singles. That was pretty cool. I like that.
Were there any? We didn't do the single. Were there singles
There
on the
were no
live one?
singles for
No. Okay.
for White Stripes.
Okay.
No, live album.
Yeah.
It would have been
A lot of
Well,
the
but
songs
sometimes
are
they'll put
singles.
live singles out from live.
Yeah.
Album.
that's true. But
Jack White probably said, "Fuck that."
Well, because
No
this was released I think after the band broke up, so it was like
Oh, okay.
yeah.
they're totally no more.
Yeah, they are not. Jack is so.
Are they still married or sisters?
No, they
So
were.
Meg's
they
just
divorced.
living up the royalties.
She's living
I
out
don't know
there.
what Meg's doing. Meg has been kind of out of the public eye since White Stripes broke up. Yeah, I think they were actually
We're going to
divorced.
Walmart.
Yeah.
I think they were divorced before
She's a
the
greeter.
band got big. and they were still in the band together.
Okay, so they were married.
They were married,
But
but
they said they were brothers.
and
He says it's my sister on the fucking
but the
album.
wild thing is that Jack took Meg's last name, so Meg White is her birth name.
Well, what's his last name?
His last name is
Jack Black.
Wachakovich.
Like,
His birth name is Gillis, John Gillis.
You don't want to be confused with Brad.
Yeah,
Brad Gillis, yeah.
I mean Gillis
he
is
would
also
always be under
Because
Brad
everybody
Gill.
would ask him, "Are you Brad Gillis' brother?"
Brad Gillis' brother. He fucking rocks.
He's better than you.
because he liked because he liked the
Well, there's no. You can't be the Gillis stripes.
yeah, like
The
the white
Gillis
stripes.
Magilla Gorilla Stripes.
So yeah,
Okay,
All right.
that's weird.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Hey. Who are we to judge?
yeah. How about you, BB? What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, I like this episode because it definitely gets at least us three to listen to something that
We would
will
never
never
listen to.
ever
Never
listen to.
Radiohead never did.
Except I would listen to Paramore. But this is a great episode. Definitely, hopefully down the road we do this again because I actually like to, see what
I'm gonna
you
have
pick out.
I'm gonna have the killers,
again.
BB. I'm
Yes.
gonna have the killers in the next one.
But yeah, great
2025.
great episode. Not a great thing that we want to do all the time. But
Yeah.
and then once again, like we kind of already touched on it. Like there's definitely people out there who enjoy this type of music compared to what we listen to. And then they probably don't understand why we like what we like compared to what we're saying. Like they like this. Like how do they like this? You know what I mean? Everybody has their different taste, and we always respect that here on the podcast, and we always bust balls about it. But yeah, definitely, can't wait to see what comes next out of this episode because there may be that old music that turns into new music. You never know.
It's always a possibility.
Yep.
Dad, how about you?
All right, yeah. Thanks for doing this, and I honestly, seriously want to apologize to our listener that recommended doing this. Please let me know that it was you, and I will give you a shout out on the next episode. I totally apologize, but I'm glad we did this because it takes us out of our comfort zone.
Oof.
I mean, a little bit way out for one of them, but it was. I mean, it literally I literally knew one White Stripes song going into this. I knew no Paramore. I knew a couple of the Green Day ones. I kind of got from them what I expected I was going to get, and I didn't dislike it. But the Paramore stuff was great, and I'm totally still in shock that I actually liked the White Stripes live album as much as I did. This doesn't mean I probably won't delve into their studio stuff. I'll probably just have this be my go-to
That's
one
understandable.
for them. But great job picking 3 out of 4, Dylan. But I'm actually glad you picked Radiohead, so I can finally say I'm sorry, Dave Borowski. No,
Give it the old college
just
try.
no. Thank you for getting me to listen to Blue Oyster Cult and to Tool. Thank you very much.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
But 2 out of 3 ain't bad at all. So this Meatloaf song is for you. But it was fun. It was fun, and it is always good. It's cathartic to have an album you can shit on a lot. But there was really not much else to shit on these albums for me, anyways. I know that the White Stripes didn't hit BB that good, but. And I like those pub songs, BB. I like those. I did. Those were good. I would drink a pint or 10 to shit like that all day long. So, great job, Dylan. And I guarantee you next week's episode will not be like this. Because the next week's episode is going to be a surprise episode.
So there'll be revenge
for
on me
my
very
friends
soon.
here. And stay tuned. Although BB will not be here for it, but BB will be participating in a different way.
By satellite.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and
Maybe
I'll get that to you.
I can zoom in, or
I'll get that to you this week.
We'll perform a seance.
But it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a fun one. And these guys probably don't even remember what this is gonna be, but but it was something that I brought up a while ago. But I just kind of.
Do you know how many things you brought up?
Just tonight.
That's what makes it so
just
exciting.
tonight.
Just tonight.
That's what makes it so exciting. So, thanks for hosting again, Dylan.
Yeah.
Love this. Love the 4 of us in the same room together. Always a good time, regardless of what the topic is. This is what it's about for me. This and the 4 of us in this room here.
Yeah. I appreciate you all coming into this with an open mind and I hope that you got some enjoyment out of at least one of the albums, because alternative rock is such a, like I said, it's such a broad genre that it's tough to boil down into just 4 albums. So I just gave you like a little slice of the massive pie that is alt rock. Some of it good, some of it bad, but all of it interesting.
For sure.
For sure.
You can listen to a selection of the songs that we talked about on our Spotify playlist of the week. There will be some great stuff to listen to. Please check out Paramore. I think everybody will get something good out of that. Check out the White Stripes if you haven't listened to this live album. Check out Green Day. I'm sure Green Day is probably the one thing that most of our listeners has heard.
I just downloaded the Paramore live album.
Paramore live, the Final Riot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was like their last show on that tour. I want them to do a new live album because like they have so many songs now that
after that.
Yeah, because like that was their 3rd album, and they're like at 3, 4, 5, 7 now.
Oh.
So they have 4 more albums.
7 album army.
Yeah, they can pull out from. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of good songs for you to check out on the Spotify playlist. So let us know what you think, and if you have any suggestions for the next alternative rock episode when that comes around.
Message Dylan privately.
Yeah, message him privately.
No, seriously, I'm not saying that being funny. Message Dylan privately.
Yeah,
for albums that we could do for that, and we'll do them.
I have some.
It's got to be one live album in there.
Yeah, one live one. I already have a couple in mind, but I'm more than happy to take suggestions because I think that it would be cool to have at least one listener suggested album for us to listen to. Like even one that I might not be.
It won't be Sonny Pooney recommending one.
No, he's not an alternative guy. But
might be Tom though.
Yeah, Tom
or Zeus.
Yeah, if any of you guys have any ideas, shoot it to me. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Whether it's enjoying the highs of the listens or the suffering that everybody had listening to Radiohead, I hope you got some enjoyment out of it. And next week's episode, I have no idea what it is, and I'm sure that'll be fun for Steve to put us through. But
you guys will enjoy it. You guys will enjoy it. Very little thought. There's no listening to shit. It's just boom.
Okay. Well, until then, we will see you next time, and there definitely will be a next time.